Voting in the first round of the French presidential elections has ended with Emmanuel Macron and the far-right leader Marine Le Pen as the two candidates who go through into the runoff. The final tally is yet to come, but early projections were that Mr Macron won around 28% of the vote and Madame Le Pen around 23%. That's the best result she has had at this stage in any of her three presidential campaigns. Both contenders now need to battle for the votes cast for other candidates and win over their supporters. Let's join our Paris correspondent Lucy Williamson now at Macron campaign headquarters. Lucy.
Well, there was a lot of nervousness here tonight and a lot of relief that their candidate came out on top. But no one is under any illusions that the next step is going to be easy. This is a fight that's been brewing for 5 years. And it's not over yet. It's only just begun. It's on. The battle for the future of France.
Car ne nous trompons pas.
Let's not make a mistake. This is not over. The debate we're going to have over the next 15 days is decisive for our country and for Europe.
A choice of President Macron or President Le Pen.
What will happen on the 24th of April is not just a vote about conditions. It's a matter of society, even of civilization.
Early projections suggest that Emmanuel Macron is still the favourite with 28% of voters, more than last time around. Marine Le Pen's share of the vote also grew to around 23%. It's not as close as some polls had predicted, but this is where the battle really begins.
I'm impatient, a little bit nervous always, simply because you don't know what France will choose and what the French people want, but afraid never.
We have seen lately that extremism is getting quite more popular, in part because on the social networks, misinformation is kind of like the plague of the 21st century. So our work is to try to fight that.
Yeah, we are scared because the votes are very close on the first round, and people on the second round will vote everything but Macron. So, yeah, because people are not satisfied about what he did.
Mr Macron only started campaigning 3 weeks ago, too occupied with the war in Ukraine. More proof for some that he's arrogant and out of touch, the president of the rich, despite creating jobs and paying billions to keep French workers afloat through COVID. Marine Le Pen has worked hard to present herself as softer and more responsible. She wants to ban the Muslim headscarf in public and give priority to French nationals in housing and jobs. But her campaign has focused on poverty and rising prices.
Je compte sur vous!
Mr Macron says her programme is racist and that her victory would threaten democracy in France. This election will hang on those who don't like either Emmanuel Macron or Marine Le Pen. And what they'll do next is harder to predict. The unwritten rule that everyone in France comes together to block the far right seems to be fraying. And the two visions France has chosen for president show how divided this nation is.
Lucy, so the same two names in the final round as was the case in 2017, but how much has the landscape of French politics changed since then?
Well, I think just to look at how much things have changed, try and find France's old traditional ruling parties in these projections. You have to go down to 5th place to find the Republicans and even further to find the Socialists. Before Mr Macron came along, France had a socialist president. Now the socialist candidate is polling at less than 2%. Mr Macron, when he came to power, said he wanted to remake French politics. Well, he's certainly done that. He's all but destroyed the old left and right, and he's reframing politics here as a battle between him and Marine Le Pen.
And so it's the next 2 weeks where there's everything to play for the two candidates.
That's right. I think we can expect a much closer race than last time. I think it'll be quite personal, this rematch between both of them too. Their image has changed for voters, both of them, over the last 5 years. Macron seems to have lost support on the left. Marine Le Pen has gone after more moderate support on the right. But what you've got to remember is that so far in this election, it's really their core supporters who voted for them. And the runoff will depend on what voters on the far left, for example, decide to do with their votes, on the voters on the Conservative right. And so far, predictions suggest that they might be split between both candidates.
Lucy, thank you very much. That's Lucy Williamson, our correspondent in Paris.